the Engagement Committee, and this is a CEC event. And I am also the proud parent of a college student who came here in kindergarten and worked her way up all the way through and graduated class of 2014. She's a senior in college now, going great. I'm a happy, satisfied customer. I want to keep things going for the next generation following me. So that's kind of why I'm here and who I am. Tell us about yourself, sir.
Good morning. For having me sit in front. James Dory, I'm a resident of Greenburgh, and I was invited by both Dr. Chase and Special Measure Equal today to listen in and contribute if I can. Thank you.
And you have a child where?
In D.F. Jackson.
Ah,
yes.
Longevity.
Yes.
Mr. Early.
Indeed. Good morning. Andre Early, Commissioner, Department of Community Resources, Town of Greenburgh, Theodore D. Young Community Center.
Good morning, Terrence Jackson, graduate of this fine institution, still live here, children that went here, former board member, and now Deputy Commissioner Theodore D. Young Community Center.
My name is John McLean. I taught English at the high school for 26 years, and even though I'm retired, I keep getting sucked back in for all.
We love retirees in this district, let me just say. Okay, I'm Shelley Greenslade. My children, my son James is in 2nd grade at Highview, and my daughter is in 5th grade at Bailey.
Hi, I'm Tara Fleming. I have a son in Jackson and a son in Bailey.
I'm Steve Morton. I have a son at Bailey and a son at Woodland Middle School.
Hi, my name is Helen Lewis. I have 2 daughters, one who just graduated last year and another one in Woodland High School. And they've been through the system, so I see the changes.
I hope good changes.
Yes.
I'm Vic Leviathan, and I was 22 years old when Woodlands was being built. And I would just love, I used to be a lot wiser than I am. Who knows what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Raise your hand. All right, that means those people are either wise graduates, right? Or wise parents, or wise grandparents. 45 years. Congratulations. Did I come to the right place?
Yeah.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Owens, and I have 4 children in 4 different buildings in the district, and I have 1 soon-to-be student.
Good morning, I am Gail Kelleher, and I am the owner and operator of Rainbow Nursery School in Hartsdale, 28 years this year. Good morning, Pamela Davis. I am PTA member here at Highview. I have a granddaughter at Highview. I have a set of twins on their way to ECP, and my daughter is a teacher at Highview.
Janet Rosario, I have a 7th grader at middle school. Son.
Sylvie Simon. I have a daughter that is a Greenburgh student, and now her 2 children are students. One is in 9th grade, and the other one is in 4th grade, and she's teaching here. And so, good, a pleased customer.
Chris Fallon, I have a 5th grader at Bailey and a 7th grader at the middle school. And Chris Fallon's son is going to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. She just forgot to mention.
Good morning. What Sylvia forgot to tell you is that we are retired elementary school principals from New York City. We work together. And so I'm Edith Jenkins, retired elementary school principal in New York City, Hartsdale resident, and I'm pleased to say as an educator, I'm pleased to see that there are excellent things happening in this school district, and if I were 20 years younger, I would be working here.
Let's go across the back of the room and then I'll hit the next page.
Oh, one more.
One more. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Liz Anastasi. I'm the Teen Services Librarian at the Greenburgh Public Library.
Ms. Carey?
Cora Carey, community activist and commissioner on the Greenburgh Housing Authority.
Michael Falcone, I'm the Director of Facilities Operations here. I'm part of the great team that's bringing this back to be a world-class school district.
Frank on transportation to me.
Miriam Burnaby. I'm one of those retirees that people are talking about. I'm a consultant for the arts here right now.
Mary O'Neill, I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Hi, I'm Dale Bradley, CPSC, CSC Chairperson. Good morning. And I'm one of those retirees also.
Mona Freytag, I'm co-president of the Poets Corner Civic Association, and my dog Bradley works at the Highview Elementary School.
Local celebrity. Ed Messina, also on the Poets Corner Civic Association board. I have a 1-year-old in the district. Planning ahead.
Liz Weinberg, also a retiree. I was the district clerk for many years. And I am the mother of 2 very successful Woodlands graduates.
Good morning. My name is Antoinette Darden-Cintron. I'm a school board member. I have a beautiful and pleasant and kind son. Mrs. Smith knows that. A junior at Woodlands. And I've been a happy customer since I came here in 2008. So I've been here since Highview. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Maris. I'm a school board trustee, mother of 3, 6th grade, 4th grade, and ECP, and very happy customer as well.
Good morning, everyone. Todd Mensch, Director of STEAM here, another happy customer.
Good.
Hi, good morning. My name is Virginia Gill. I'm the District Registrar here at Greenburgh and future retiree.
Got a ways to go.
My name is Brendan Gallen. I'm the Director of International Baccalaureate Programs, World Languages, English is a New Language, and a few other hats. But I want to thank you all for being here and all the contributions you're making to this great community. Thanks for staying connected.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kiana Washington. I'm the principal of R.J. Bailey Elementary School. I am a graduate of Woodlands High School and a WISE student. I have 3 sons. 1 graduated in 2012 from Woodlands High School, and 2 are now at the middle high school with Mr. Smith. I'm a very happy customer, happy to be here, and very happy to be the principal of R.J. Bailey Elementary School.
I'll try not to turn my back to anyone. Dawn Mail, I am the director of the Early Childhood Program. We're a pre-K to 12 school district. Welcome.
Good morning, Patricia Simone. I'm the principal of Leah Jackson School here in the Greenburgh School District. It's a K-1 building. Thank you.
If you don't recognize me from my costume. my name is Howard Reese. I'm the chief of the Fairview Fire Department. We are not a customer, but we are a proud partner. So thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Ramirez. I'm the Director of Technology and Chief Information Officer. I'm very happy to see so many members of our community. This synergy is so great. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
I'm Sergeant Norman Hall from the Greenburgh Police Department. And as you know, community is so important to us that we have our own community police unit. I'm the commanding officer of that unit.
I'm Evelyn McCormick, the communications consultant. Why are you laughing? For the school district, and I'm going to be taking a lot of pictures. Fair warning.
Good morning. My name is Mandel Holland. I am the assistant principal over at Woodlands High School. I am also an AP World teacher, which is why I was late today. My kids were taking a test. I am a parent of a student that's here. I have a 14-year-old over at the high school. I also graduated from Woodlands High School. I was a wise student. Vic was my mentor. And I mentored Kiana's son when he was in Wise. And really happy to be here.
It's a very tough act to follow. I'm Ron Valenti, and a retiree, who also does assistant superintendent work here for curriculum, instruction, and personnel. And I'm looking forward to talk about some of the exciting programs that parents and community will be looking forward to for next school year. We already have, and the future is even brighter.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm a parent. I have 2 graduates from the district, and I have 2 students, one in Woodlands and one at Highview. I'm a happy parent.
Good morning. I'm Edgar Glasgow. I'm the athletic director, K-12 for the district, and also the dean for Woodlands Middle High School.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Smith, principal of Woodlands Middle High School. For years, I've been trying to get John McClain back. John can always come home. Miss Niambi is very humble. 2 of her, her son and her daughter both graduated Woodlands, both went to Harvard. Her son is there now, going into his junior year.
He's a junior now.
Junior already. Wow, moving quick. Her daughter went there, graduated around to Columbia. Finished at Columbia University for grad school, so she's doing great in the medical field. And we're at Wesley now. So again, thank you everyone for coming out today. We're excited about to share with you what's going on at Woodlands Middle High School. And John, the play has just begun. So. All right. Thank you everyone.
Yes, Laser. Introduce yourself.
I'm sorry.
Step in.
Network administrator for the district.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Good morning. I'm Laser Alert. I'm the network administrator for the Greenburgh Central School District.
He's very, very humble. He's the app design. You know when you get that app and the sound goes, yay! That's Laser, and he's also a Woodlands graduate.
The man behind the camera is Steve Lewis. Yes. All right. Did I miss anyone? Good.
Another one who's humbled, Steve, was promoted last night.
Yes.
And Steve Lewis spent 6 years in the position that he's in. He finally took the test and was very successful. And so last night he was promoted by our school board because he did very, very well, and he took upon himself to better himself. And therefore we are so proud of you, Steve. So let's give it up for Steve.
There's one more person to introduce.
What about you? Who are you?
Who started me? All right, it being testing season, I'm going to do this in the form of a test question. Choose the answer below that best describes Superintendent Tahira Dupree. Dr. Chase is someone who, A, can scribble 3 words on a Post-it note and spin them into a speech that sounds like the Gettysburg Address.
Yes.
B, takes equal joy in handing out a spelling bee certificate to an elementary student and announcing college acceptances for high school seniors. C, threw out the first pitch at Greenburgh Day at City Field last year. D, is implementing ALP, PLC, UDL, IBDP, MBK, NAO robots for STAM, hired H2M to upgrade ECP, LFJ, HB, RJB, and WMHS, and hosted ACTSO for NAACP. Or E, all of
to introduce me, it would definitely be David Warner. Every introduction gets better and better, so I like that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I have to say that I'm probably one of the luckiest superintendents that I know because I have a fantastic board president who supports me, who holds my secret, and I know the other board members are mad at him for it. He's forgiven. He knows what I'm talking about. And who is just really supportive of the direction we're going in the school district. And it's not just Mr. Warner. I have to say the other board members who are here as well have been extremely supportive, and I'm so happy that we're moving in the direction that we're moving. And so I thank you for that very warm introduction. The acronyms were hilarious. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of those acronyms. Steve keeps me. Okay. Is this good enough? That's better. Perfect. Let's take it from the top. There's so many other places you all could have been today. It's a beautiful day, despite the clouds, but it's a beautiful spring day, but you've chosen to be with us, and I believe that you're here because you want to know more about our school district, and you want to engage in informal conversation with the leadership that's here, and so I thank you for that. I thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to come here. You don't have to be here. I appreciate the partnerships that are here with our daycare center, with our PTA, with our fire department. I know Chief Rush wanted to be here, but he couldn't be here. With our police department, you'll be working with us in our safety trainings, and we appreciate that. We appreciate the parents and the community. The Poets Corner, you guys have been extremely welcoming and open to us, and I appreciate you for being here with the 1-year-old. Remember when your wife was pregnant, and we had the conversation about the district, and I said, give us a shot and give us a chance, and you're here to learn about us, and so that is worthy of an applause. I really appreciate you. It's very true. I do love retirees, as you can tell. I have a school district full of them. I have a school district full of them. I mean, the work ethic you can't knock, and I'm just being honest. But I also love some of the other energy that we've brought into the district. We've brought some great leadership to the district that are doing wonderful things, and you're going to hear from them very, very shortly. So, I'm not going to do a lot of talking because I want to hear from you. And typically when we have the Superintendent's Tea, we spend a lot of time, listening to me, and I have a lot to say, but I'd rather hear from you all. So I did jot some notes because there are a few things that I do want to share with you. I do know that there are people who wanted to be here. We got a couple of people who had to cancel at the last minute. Know that we're streaming live. We're a world-class school district, so we do everything just over the top here, which is exciting. So we're streaming live, so if you know someone, a neighbor, who could not be here but wanted to be here, tell them to log on now, because it is live streamed, okay? Am I correct, Steve? Yeah. They log on to what? YouTube. To our YouTube channel. Okay, and so what do they, if they just go, suppose they're not subscribers, how do they access it?
They should subscribe, go into our website, and there's a YouTube link that they can click, and it'll take them to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
It'll be the first video.
It'll be the first video, okay. So, why are we here? You're not here because you enjoy my coffee and my pastries. You're not here because I have beautiful flowers. You're not here because you just want to be here and there's nothing else to do. You're here because you want to learn more about the school district. I like to have these meetings and host these meetings because I want to dispel the things that are still going on about this district, the rumors, the lies that are being told. You know what bothered me last night, Mr. Warner? Last night, a community member came to the podium to speak about some of the comments that are still being made about the school district that are absolutely wrong. I heard many of you go around the room and talk about being satisfied customers. There are hundreds of you out there who are satisfied customers. But these satisfied customers really need to let the naysayers know that what they thought the district isn't what it is. We are a world-class school district. We have some of the best kids on earth here. We have some of the most supportive parents, community members who genuinely care about what's happening. We have programs in our school district that you will never see in any other district. You name a district that has a K-12 Mandarin program. I'm waiting. Waiting. You name a school district that has taken on some of the accelerated programs that we have. You name a school district that has this STEAM approach. We hired the director of STEAM, and I shared with you 2 years ago that we were going to move full steam ahead with our STEAM offerings. And our STEAM offerings are amazing, and that's thanks to this gentleman who's standing right over here, Todd Minch. Name a school district that has the STEAM offerings that we have. I'm waiting. And that's just a few things. So I don't like that. There are social media outlets, and I'm going to be honest, and I hope I don't insult anyone who's here, that post things about the district that are not true. And they do that, and they make it public, and then when the newspaper writes something about us, they complain. But you're the same one who's throwing our school district under the bus. What student wants to hear that their school district is ugly, or it's dirty, or there's something wrong with their school district? Not one kid. Why would you do that to kids? You see, we have a beautiful campus. When visitors come to our campus, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing they say is, oh my God, this place is beautiful. But we have people among us who don't believe that because they live in negativity. So the purpose of this meeting is to dispel that negativity, to give you all that elevator speech. So when people say negative things about our district, you can counter it with facts and not assumptions. Facts. Fact, this is a beautiful campus. Fact, we have world-class programs. Fact, we have maintained well over a 90% graduation rate for several years. Fact, our students are represented at every Ivy League college. Fact, last night I announced over $3 million in academic scholarships so far. So far, there are more to come. I said academic, I didn't say anything about athletic, I didn't say anything else but academic. I have smart kids, I have brilliant kids. So I want us to walk away today knowing more about the district. I want us to walk away feeling positive, and I want us to keep in mind, this is our kids' second home. Most of our kids spend more time in this school district than they do in their homes. Their awake time. Don't you dare speak negatively about these kids' second home. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to grow. It's a great place to teach, and it's a great place to learn. You can help me out too. You can go to Great Schools. If you go to greatschools.com, you can rate our school district. Because what I realize is that a lot of realtors still look at great schools and they make assumptions. But we can control the narrative. So you want to know why I keep Laser and Steve by my side all the time. It's about not giving anyone else the pen to write the story to the school district. Taking control of the narrative. And we can do that. If you go to greatschools.com, if you go to niche, you can actually write comments about our school district and you can rate our school district. And you determine what is stated. You determine how people perceive our district. You determine what is read about our district. You determine what to put out there in our school district. So we're going to need your help with that. Because we still have this group that just wants to infiltrate with the negativity. And there's nothing I can do about that. But what we can do is our voices can be louder than theirs. That's the one thing. So I am going to need your support and your help with that. You think you guys can help me out with that? Yes. Okay. So last night, on a positive note, because I'm sucking the energy out of the room and I'm going to be back because I can feel it. But I had to say that. And I had to say that because as a superintendent, who I know has worked her behind off with a fantastic leadership team and has done all that we can to counter that nonsense and to continue to hear that and hear that from people who say, well, I love the district, but the district is ugly and it's nasty and it's dirty. That bothers me. We've got to do better. And we can do better. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's talk about last night. Last night, our board passed our proposed budget for the 2018-2019 school year. And I'm going to ask Mary just to talk a little bit about that. Because tonight, Tonight, you all will have the opportunity to listen to the third draft budget presentation. And so I just want Mary just to give you a quick summary before we go into a little bit of the details about the budget. And there are some handouts on your table as well, so you can follow along with Mary.
Okay, so a quick summary. Thank everyone for coming first. The budget that the board approved last night was $68,760,410. Overall, it's a budget increase of just 3.11%, with a tax levy increase of 2.9%.
0.99%. I'm happy to say that we are under the tax cap. The proposed budget meets the focus for the 18-19 school year, which was to improve safety and security, increase school performance, and enhance student achievement. All the current programs are maintained, ELA, literacy, and STEAM initiatives are enhanced, and in addition, we're adding a new alternative advanced learning program has been added to the budget next year. Some areas that we were able to reduce costs without impacting the educational program included offering a retirement incentive, tuition reductions, BOCES reductions, and a reduction in health insurance. In addition to reducing some of our expenses, our state aid actually increased by 6.25%. We look forward to having all this information on our website by the end of the week, and look forward to everyone coming out and vote in May.
We've done something a little bit different this year, as you all may have noticed. You notice we haven't had any live budget meetings. And we did that because typically in the past, when we've had live meetings, I'm just going to be frank and honest. That's what you want me to be. Mona, Bradley, Mr. Warner, and maybe 2 other people would come out.
Chris.
And Chris. Sometimes Chris will bring a friend. Depends if it's snowing or not. So we said, you know what, instead of having 5 people there, and the message only stays within the 5 people, let's use our technology. And so we did electronic meetings. And we televised them, and I have to tell you, some of the other school districts are beginning to do that. A few of my friends have started to do that as well. But we started last year, and last year, instead of having 3 people at our meeting, we had 64 live viewers. Wow. So this year so far, at each meeting, we've had well over 100, just to get the message out. But I also recognize that although we are a progressive school district, there are still individuals who'd like to have the hard copies, and they may not necessarily be very comfortable with the electronic meetings, with the virtual meetings. That being said, if you would like hard copies, or if you'd like to just sit down and discuss the budget with us, please let us know, and we'll send you those hard copies, and you don't have to necessarily have to access them online, okay? So thank you, and Mary shared with you, we are below the tax cap, and we're committed to 2 main things: the health and safety of our children, which I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second, as well as enhancing programs, and Dr. Valente and I will speak about that. So I don't want to hold these kids up because they're dying to get back to school. Can't you see the anxiety on their faces? Oh, you're holding us up, we want to get back to class, I get it. So under the direction of the fantastic Mr. Brian Kennedy, who was a wonderful hire. I don't know where we found you, but boy, you are amazing. As we continue to brag about our AAA, our athletics and our arts and our academics, Mr. Kennedy is just one amazing human being as well as an amazing teacher. So I'm going to ask that you introduce those who gave us the ambiance music this morning.
Oh, okay. This is Woodlands Jazz Combo. You can introduce themselves.
We'll start with this young man.
Hello, my name is Adam Pasquale. I play the piano for the jazz combo.
And you're great.
Can they say all the instruments that they play, please?
Yeah, because I don't know why is everyone so modest today.
For the jazz combo, I usually play piano, but I can also play trumpet as well. In the concert band, I play trumpet. I can also play a little bit of guitar, drums.
Hello, my name is Lee Hung, and I am a junior, and I play the bass for the combo. I own
20 instruments?
I'm not good at all of them. I like to think I'm good at like 10 or...
Can you just give us 5?
Clarinet, they are not all good. Clarinet, piano, bass, flute, and saxophone.
Wow.
Good. Nice.
Wow.
I'm Wesley. I'm in 11th. That's my mom.
flugelhorn, French horn, piano, and I can do a really good bongo solo.
Hi, I'm John. My last name is Mosada. I'm in the 10th grade. In the jazz combo, I play alto sax, but I also play tenor, the piano, the maracas, and the clave in the upcoming play. And by the way, there's a play on Thursday.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm in the 11th grade. I play soprano sax, alto sax, tenor sax, bari sax, flute, and clarinet.
Hi, I'm Cameron Forbes. I'm in the 9th grade. I play drums for the jazz band and combo and concert band. But on like off days or like at church and stuff like that, I play piano.
Can we just give them all again around the of what you will find at Woodlands Middle High School, what you will find at Bailey School, what you will find at Highview, what you will find at Leaf Jackson, what you will find at ECP. It's only a small sample. You want me to take
Move in, guys.
Oh, go ahead. Awesome. Thank you guys. I know you're desperately working back to class, fourth period. Thank you so much. So there was a start of a commercial for our upcoming musical In the Heights. So I'm sure you all have seen some of the promos for In the Heights. We're excited. It begins Thursday. There's a dress rehearsal Thursday. There will be grand opening, red carpet style on Friday, and then Saturday. I want to talk about Friday's performance because the students have decided that the proceeds to Friday's performance will be donated to a school in Puerto Rico. That was their decision. It just really speaks to the heart of our children here at the school district, so we're really excited. And so when, I have to just talk about this, Miriam. Miriam came into my office one day and we were talking about In the Heights, and she showed me the flyer, and I said, wow, Lin-Manuel, that's right, it was composed by him. Did you invite him? She was like, no, how am I going to invite him? I said, I don't know, just put it out on Twitter, let's see what happens. Well, that we did we not? We put it out on Twitter, and I'll tell you, we got 5,000 reviews alone. Wow. And not just Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So on Instagram, I don't know, it's a couple of hundred. Twitter was a couple of hundred. Facebook, we're at 2,700, close to 28. And on LinkedIn, we're close to 1,800 views. And the responses on LinkedIn have been incredible, such as the whole world is watching. Did he contact you yet? I have somebody who knows him. Give me the information. Pass me the flyer. I know. So we've been getting a lot of, I know someone who knows him. I know someone who knows this person. I know someone who knows, someone put on our Facebook, I know someone who knows his tailor. Can you get me the information? But it's just been such awesome energy because you see the kids humbly said, Lin-Manuel Miranda, can you please come to our show? Who says no to kids? So of course everyone wants to see, you know, the fact that he responds. But in fairness to Lin-Manuel, I want to be fair because I don't want him to feel pressure at all. He's ill. He has the shingles, and you know, he put that out there publicly. And you know, having the shingles kind of keeps you quarantined for a while. So I'm not really sure if he's going to come, but I have a very funny suspicion that he received the video. Yes. We'll leave it at that. I have a very funny suspicion he received the video. How could you not? How could you not? We had at least 20, no, I think it was 50-something shares on Facebook. I had a bunch of shares on my Facebook, and then on LinkedIn, we had a bunch of retweets. This went as far as Europe. It went as far as Europe. So when I saw Liam on Saturday at another event, I said, you don't know that you're a rock star. Like, everyone knows who you are. But it's just really great energy. The kids did such a great job. And again, I want to thank Steve for just putting that together, that video for last minute. It was last minute video. It was a crazy idea, and it really turned out to be something amazing. Now, even if Mr. Miranda doesn't come, and it doesn't appear that he will because he is under the weather, even if he doesn't come, I think the promotion of the show is just amazing, because there were people who kept saying, well, I'm coming anyway. Proceeds are going, and I have to tell you, I have about 4 or 5 different donors already who made donations to Friday's show so that the kids from Bailey will have an opportunity to attend. And the children from Bailey performed Annie the Musical a couple of weeks ago, and I felt bad that I couldn't be there because I was out of town. And I couldn't be there to watch their performance, and I wanted to congratulate them. So I sent them a little message the other day, and I said, hey, why don't you be my special VIP guests? So Frank Gunn is going to arrange a VIP bus. It's yellow. It's yellow. And he's going to arrange a VIP bus to pick up the kids. Come on in, come on in. To pick up the kids. Parents will just drop them off at Bailey. They're going to have dinner with us, and then they'll get to meet the cast. And I think it's nice that those children can actually meet the cast. But we're doing some great things. The elementary musicals are fantastic. Our high school musicals are also fantastic. So I ask you, please come out to support. Friday night is the grand opening, but you'll still have an opportunity to see it Saturday, and there's also a dress rehearsal on Thursday. Hello, Mr. Fighter. Welcome. Welcome, and thank you for being here. Okay. Any questions so far? Any questions? Yes, Chief.
Is there an opportunity for us to donate to send more kids from Bailey to see the play?
Yes. I think we have 61 kids. You're more than welcome, and then there are also high school kids we can make the donation to. So if there's a spillover, high school kids, Highview kids, ECP kids, anybody's kids, absolutely.
And anyway, it's just going to
Greenburgh Central School. For those of you who are ready to write your checks, Greenburgh Central School District. No, I've been consistent so the board can approve it.
Oh, okay.
So Greenburgh Central School District, then it gets board approved. But in the memo, please put in the Heights so that we'll know that that money is earmarked for the tickets for the show. Okay?
My daughters were on the lucky ones company. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But are you collecting donations that night? Can I send money with her? Is there
anything you'd like to do? Mary will be happy to accept.
I just want to know what it's going to be because it will be with her. So yeah.
We'll take your money.
But again, but just know that the proceeds will be going to Puerto Rico, and we want the kids to have as much as possible to send to Puerto Rico. Welcome.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Dr. Marcia Lawrence, and I'm the new executive director for the Louis Bronx Children's Center. And I've actually been trying for half an hour trying to find this place. I've gotten a tour of just all, well, not only the campus, but I went down further in Hartsdale, all over. So finally, I just like, let me call this place. So thank you. I need it. I'm here. Fantastic. Valenti, I see my mentor, one of my former instructors.
Dr. Valenti is everyone's That's just a given. And this young lady who just walked in the back, you are?
Hello, everyone. It's Kobe Chicken. My Corky sisters in here. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful faces this morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. One of the things that I addressed the community last night, I just want to just reiterate and share with you before we actually go into the administrators sharing what's happening in their buildings and their respective departments. Testing. And I know testing is on the minds of so many of us. And so I just want to share a bit of what I shared with the community last night. Of course, you can always watch the board meeting. It is very clear to me that the last testing period did not go well for some of our students. I've heard reports, and Mr. Mastrangelo especially, he isn't here because he's under the weather, but I've heard reports from elementary schools that there were children who fell ill during the test. The test was a lot longer this year. The questions were very complex, and the structure of the test was a lot different than what was promised to us. And I have to say, parents, just very humbly, I've encouraged you all to, opt in, don't opt out. We need this data. This data is very important to us so that we can make informed decisions. I had no idea that children would face what some of the kids face, and it's not just our district. There were children in our school district, even as far as middle school students, who spent their entire school day taking the examination. They were taking it at dismissal. Wow. That is unheard of. We as adults can't sit that long for a test. This is not just our issue. I'm hearing this county-wide. Okay? I don't know what's going on in other states. Here's what I do know. I do know there was a very large opt-out on Long Island. Some districts as high as 90%, some districts 60%. In fact, they made it a competition of who would have the highest opt-out. And partly because I guess they must have had some insight about this year's test. The superintendents group of Lower Hudson County, I want to just be honest, be very clear with you and transparent. We had a conversation last Friday about the most recent assessment, and one superintendent wrote a letter to his community, and we decided that we were going to actually write a letter to the commissioner as a collective body of superintendents. Under no circumstances do we want to put any harm on children. And when I mean harm, I'm talking social and emotional. I have reports from this district where kids had to be escorted out of the room to the nurse's office. I've heard reports of children having to walk up and down the hall just to get some of the anxiety out of their system. A 7-, 8-year-old shouldn't have to go through that. We can't go through that as 25-year-olds, right? We can't go through that. But to put babies, and when I say babies, just remember they were in pull-ups a couple of years ago. Right. They're babies at the end of the day. To put them through that type of agony and anxiety. So I give kudos and a shout out to all the teachers that truly held it together while some of the children felt some frustration and anxiety, and to the leaders of the schools who also supported the children during this time. There is another testing period coming up at the beginning of May for math. Parents, just know, I don't know what the dynamics are of this particular assessment, but I will tell you this much. The ELA gives us a lot of pause, and I say this, that we're going to be writing a letter to Commissioner Elliott and just letting her know that what was promised to us was not delivered to us. And when we were told to believe in the assessments and they're going to improve, that didn't quite get delivered in the way we expected for it to be delivered. I am participating as part of that letter, and I am using some of the anecdotes that I heard to help write the letter as a collective body with my colleagues in the Lower Hudson Valley. It is important that I participate. It's important that I have a voice on behalf of Greenburgh Central School District. Now, the test does have some merits in that it does give us information. But under no circumstances should my kids feel anxious. Under no circumstances should my kids feel frustrated. Under no circumstances should children feel defeated after taking an examination. I think we're sending the wrong message, and it doesn't set well with me. I saw your hand, Mr. Feiner.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I just wanted to mention when I passed law school, I had to take the bar exam, and my sister said, "You always guess wrong." So she said, "If you think it's A, write B," and I did, and I got the highest grade. One of the thoughts that I had is a couple of years ago, there's a couple of testing groups in the state. In Greenburgh, Crewman, they work with scholarships at the Theater Young Community Center, and you have a bunch of them on Central Avenue, and maybe the school district might want to contact some of these like SAT preparationers or testing and see if they can.
We're kind of laughing because we talked about that last night at our board meeting. So we will hopefully be talking to.
Yeah, if you want me to write letters, I'd be happy to reach out to, some of them. I think with Kuhlman, I know that they were interested in doing this.
So I really
it could help a few students, whatever.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Questions, comments, thoughts? Ms.
I
Garza-Citron.
just wanted to add that it is happening across our state. New York State PTA is currently working on a letter also
good
to the commission.
Good. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Mr. Morton.
Also, I would like to add to that because, you know, my kid personally came home with that same feeling. But I think that we could also get maybe even anonymously, have the kids write some letters. Let them be involved in the process. They're the ones who took the test.
Yes.
Never mind the parents and the teachers. Let them, because my kid can definitely tell you. You want a letter, he'll give you a letter. So I'm thinking, why not have the kids take some time to tell how they feel. Some may love it, some may hate it, but at least they'll get a...
I'm going to say that I'm going to leave that up to the parents. You do have that right. Commissioner Elliott's email is publicly available if you want to do that as a parent. But as a school district, being that I have been commissioned to be your leader, I'm going to speak on behalf of my babies here. And under no circumstances will I allow them to be harmed or to feel less than or to feel defeated by the examination. That's just not the purpose of it. So yeah, you're more than welcome to do that as a parent. And I received your wife's email too, speaking about your boy's experience. It's just, and the only thing I can say is I'm sorry that kids have to go through that, and we're going to work hard to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Okay? All right. We're going to move on to the next thing. And I am going to call on, I had a couple of other things, but I wanted to hear from you just to have some dialogue. I'm going to call on Brendan Gallivan. Many of you know that, well, let me just go back. One of the things that Mary said that our budget was focused on are two things: enhancing our offerings as well as safety and security. And in our school district, we have amazing instructional programs, but also in the budget, we were very clear that we were going to take what we have that's working really well and enhance it, but also add new programs to our school district. And so we have some great things coming down the pipe, and we also have something in existence in our school district that's quite popular. And I just would give Brendan a couple of minutes just to share with you what those things are.
As Dr. Chase does, I also operate in the service of Steve, who was recording this for posterity, and he said, Brendan, you need to get up there to talk in order to be photographable. That's not my objective. That's our videographer's objective. But what I want to tell you about is I love the dialogue so far that's going on, because some of it speaks directly to what we're doing here in creating and growing a global district. So I can speak. I just want to give you a couple of updates. As you know, we're an international baccalaureate program school. We have international baccalaureate program schools, but very shortly, knock wood, we're going to be K-12 international baccalaureate district. And we're right now in the process, and any of you who want to know more about what that means, as I'm saying international baccalaureate program or district, certainly feel free to contact me. I'm always available, and I think citizen teachers and colleagues alike will report to you that I love to talk about instruction. So if ever you have more you're wondering about, please let me know. But at any rate, we're undergoing kind of an arduous process now in becoming an international baccalaureate diploma program school at Woodlands. It's a three-stage process. It's a 2-year process. We completed the first step, which was an application process. We're in the midst of the authorization process. And if all goes well, we will have a verification visit by the IB International folks in the fall. The authorization process itself, it's not just about the process, as we like to say. It's about the learning that happens along the process. So certainly we're applying to become an IB diploma program, but our teachers have undergone meaningful training. Our teachers have undergone purposeful curriculum work. Our teachers have undergone the dedication to rethinking philosophies and policies that Woodlands Middle School, High School are operating under. And we're initiating that process, and so it's a real wonderful thing that's going on in terms of our IB diploma program. It is indeed a world program. There are schools in Singapore, there are schools in Beijing, there are schools in Switzerland and Scotland and other places I can't mention. Additionally, as Dr. Chase was saying, we are becoming globally known. Just the other day I was contacted via Twitter or liked and commented on by Professor of Education at Turkish University. We're in, we've been liked and noticed by schools and other places around the world. We are, so the importance of that is, and I'll talk a little bit more, if you let me, I'll talk all day, but I know we're under time. The importance of that is, we're shifting.
Yes.
Teaching and learning is not just global, it's public. And when the performance is public, it changes the dynamic of both teaching and learning and the demonstration of learning. So let me go back to our programs here. We have a wonderful world language program, and I want to introduce another take on our wonderful production of In the Heights. Love the fact that this student was so socially aware that when he had cameras trained on him, he said, by the way, we've got something happening. That kind of awareness, is a life skill and a world skill right now. So wonderful for that boy to do that. Additionally, lovely for you, sir, and everyone else who said, how can I become involved in contributing to this experience to help our Woodlands folks? Well, we're going to help our Woodlands students, and we're going to help students in Ponce, Puerto Rico. So it's a double deal. Your $1 is going to help two people, two communities. So additionally, that's globally minded thinking. So our students, so in the Heights, we have Dominican students. We have staff members, in fact, half the world language program is Dominican, who are living this. They're living being proud and hearing their voice through In the Heights, and also they're grateful for the support we're giving schools devastated. So when we talk about offering world languages, we're talking about being global in ways that are more than just learning a language. We're learning to appreciate perspectives. We're learning to indulge and inform ourselves with the perspectives of others. Our Mandarin program received much good feedback, including an article written in mainland China about a Mandarin program, ours, here in Greenburgh Central School District. We have, as recently as yesterday, wonderful things going on. At the high school, not too long ago, we had a performance that was opened up to the entire school. And it was a performance of cultural things happening in Taiwan, performances from Taiwan and China. And some teacher said to me before the performance, I wonder how students are going to take to this. I wonder how they will engage or not engage as audience members. Well, guess what? They engage wholeheartedly and fully. You know why? Because a universal language, excellence is a universal language. And so kids engage, faculty members engage, community engages when we have excellence going on. So additionally, we are connecting interdisciplinary through the instruction of our programs. Our Mandarin program in and of itself is generating great excitement. But some of you may not know, our kids in the elementary school are doing math in Mandarin because they just can't help themselves. We had a teacher.
That's very cute.
We had a teacher tweet the other day about kids doing reading in Mandarin, Spanish, English, but Japanese. I'm also the English as a new language guy. I supervise the programs for folks who are new to our schools from other places. So for me, that is a beautiful literacy happening, because we want kids to learn, we want the kids to build literacy skills in the language they're just learning, whether that's their own language, English or Spanish, or in the language they're learning as new languages. So lovely, lovely, lovely stuff going on.
I haven't been to a second grade birthday party that I haven't sung happy birthday in English and
I know.
Yes. Yeah. And not too long ago at one of our elementary schools, we sang happy birthday in 9 different languages. Right. So we have 20 different cultures happening at Woodlands. So what I would leave you wanting to know or know about is that these programs are intended to not only give kids concrete skills, the instruction of a language, but also they're meant to inform them as global citizens. So thank you, Mr. Morton, for saying that your child could write a letter. Well, as a product of our instruction, we want our students to learn how to and to take informed civic action. It's a social studies standard, which is another cap I wear. but it's also what we want to do in terms of citizens. So I thank you for a couple of moments, and as always, I am approachable, reachable, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Mr. Feiner was taking copious notes,
I
and I'm glad, because I hope, Mr. Feiner, you will continue to share what's all the great things that are going on in this district.
Yeah, the question I have is, are there any other school districts that teach Mandarin in like this area, or is the Greenburgh district more unique? Because if it's more unique, that's something that I think we could really, highlight. And I was even thinking that maybe you should say have like the consul general from China or an ambassador showing up and recognizing the school district. Maybe have something at a town board meeting, because one of the issues that we have to do is we have to really encourage more people to want to come to the school district rather than move into the school district and go to the private schools.
So, Mr. Feiner, it's almost like I'm using you as a plant. Thank you for asking that question. Because
I think I wrote down like I read what you wrote.
There are no districts I'm aware of, as Dr. Chase mentioned, that are offering a K-12 Mandarin program. But we have been reached out. Other local districts have reached out to us wondering how we're doing it. Dobbs Ferry, Scarsdale among them. So that's quite interesting. It's also interesting to me now, from another, we see things from multiple perspectives, but we went through quite an exhaustive process to find the best possible Mandarin teachers for this program as well. And just recently, our programs are growing. As you know, nearly 100% of our K-6 students are studying world languages. I'll say that again, nearly 100% of our K-6 students are studying world languages. So we're growing and we need to hire more teachers. And so we have to take alternative means to find these great teachers of Mandarin, because they don't necessarily look where we normally post, so we have to go to where they are. So recently, I've received applications to work in the Greenburgh School District from Niskayuna, which is a suburb of Albany, Delaware, the great state of Texas, and elsewhere. So our world is global. We send out messages and are getting feedback in many different ways, and our program is expanding. And I look forward to working with you in any way you would like.
I could even, let's say you're looking for teachers, we could even post on the town website, this is the only school district in the area that has K-12 Mandarin, and if people know the language and are interested in teaching, they could basically contact you. I mean, that's a way of publicizing it, and and I think we could help generate a lot of news media interest. I'd be more than happy to help.
Speaking of publicizing, we're asking for Lynn Manuel Miranda to come. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah, I saw that from somebody who's helping me. Michael Schwartz is a friend of Miranda, and he's helping me with the Edgemont issue, and he sent it to his son, your video, and the son's a friend of Miranda.
Thank you for sharing that.
I have to go upstairs. I want to say thank you to the Greenburgh School District. I'm going upstairs because there's a meeting, special ed meeting for one of my students who needs some speech. And I'm so proud of how this community has built up so much and is doing so much more. And the special ed group, God bless you, I have to tell you, because it is wonderful how you're helping your students.
Thank you, and I'll be leading to the special ed team. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here.
I just would like to share with this entire group about my son Isaiah, who's not just a fluent roller skater because he goes to the TDYCC Center, but he also speaks Mandarin because he's here in this school district. So I just want you all, I want to share this quickly so I hope everyone can hear it, because this is important. Miss Simone, I love you. My son is in her school in Lee Jackson, and Isaiah is in first grade. And this is deep. And he writes in Chinese. Wow. And that's him writing his numbers in Chinese and also being able to pronounce the words correctly. I had a client who came to buy some furniture from me who was Chinese. And when she listened to this video, she was so impressed on how my son was able to articulate every word of that. So not only am I prancing around with this video telling everybody inside, I am so proud to be a parent here. I'm so proud that my child and all of my children were blessed to be a part of Greenburgh Central School District. But he could not, and none of my children could not have done it without all of your support, without the many principals. I don't want to name everybody, but you know that I love each and every last one of you, and our superintendent, who is just not just superb, but top notch. So I thank you all for us pulling together, and this is the evidence. Because it's one thing for us to sit here and talk about it, but when you hear it and you see it in the live, you know what our kids are doing. And this is a beautiful thing.
So, just to move this along, if you may recall, thank you. And in last year's budget, we were focused on building global learners. I just want you to know what we've done since you passed that budget by a 74% margin. The year before that, we talked about moving full steam ahead, and we hired Todd Mitch, who led our STEAM initiatives. So Todd, I'm going to give you a minute and a half.
Not even needed.
Okay. A minute and a half to talk about our STEAM initiatives.
Steve's White here. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for indulging us. Thank you. Where have we been? We've had wonderful events this year, like our Engineers Week and Computer Science Week. What's currently going on? Within the next 2 weeks, we have 22 students here in grades 4 through 12 attending a Tri-County Science Fair at White Plains High School. The most students we've had ever attend. That is a next level science fair. We're very proud of that. That's an all byproduct of our science extravaganza that we had here. And I see some familiar faces of presenters from the community that joined us that evening. Standing room only, we're talking about expanding the time frame next year so that everybody gets to see everything. I was watching Mr. Warner go through and look at each and every science fair projects of all of our students, grades 4 through 12, and his comment to me was, hey, I didn't get to finish them all. But he went back and finished them on the way back out of the building because I followed him back out later on in the evening. So we're very, very proud of that. What are you going to see? We talked about this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful campus. We want to take advantage of it. We have a pond, where is it? That way. There's a lot of community members that have seen that thing much, much longer than the 2 years that I've been here. Come, go, ebb, flow. It's not a pond, folks, it's a vernal pond. It comes and goes with the season. It comes and goes with the weather. It comes and goes. How do I know that? I'm a math guy. How do I know that science? Because we have a science teacher and a lot of science learning students over at the Woodlands High School, Middle School, who have researched that thing to the nth degree. They're going to present to the planning board our plan for putting a aquatic nature center in that space.
Hold on, I really want Mr. Fine. I want you to hear this because you get a lot of emails about the pond. So I just want you to hear what we're doing so you can share it with everyone.
So we're building, and I'm not, we're doing 2D, 3D models of the current vernal pond, which we're going to present to the planning board. We have specs for a dock that goes out to the center, because that's the best spot to get your samples from, and every single grade level here, from pre-K up to 12, is going to have responsibility to that water source. So maybe our friends at ECP will be looking at the temperature, and 4 times a year they'll do a temperature test there. We have all the probes, we have all the technology, we need the students to be doing it. And lastly, if you know anything about the Terrytown School District or Westchester Community College, they have a lot of windmill sources of free energy. We are looking into partnering with a group from Mount Vernon to put one of those in our quad. And Mr. Smith doesn't even know this because we're in the real preliminary stages, but me and some other guy were stalking around the other day looking for a perfect spot, because what we want to do is build a tower, windmill. It is a hot spot for outdoor Wi-Fi access. There are charging ports and USB ports to plug computers into. We'll have lighting and security cameras for the outside of your premises also, for that safety and security thing that Dr. Chase was talking about. So exciting? Yes. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.
This is one different doors, so come on in.
My son had an IEP meeting at random.
That's all right, but you're here though, and that's what's
I wasn't
important.
really sure.
That's all right. Community, you supported these programs. You supported our STEAM initiatives 2 years ago. Last year you supported World Languages, IB, and ENL, and this is the result. This year we ask for your support with some new programs that are coming to the school district. We're looking at a new writing program, and we're looking at also too an advanced learning program. So I'm going to ask Dr. V just to spend some time talking about those two new initiatives.
Good, Chase, thank you very much, and thank you, Directors mentioned Brendan, for sharing the wonderful programs we have. I think one important comment needs to be made. This is not happening randomly. This is a systematic effort based on the board's 5-year plan, which goes to 2021. A strategic plan. Where should Greenburgh be going? What is our vision? How are we going to get there? And with Dr. Chase's support, we are moving in a direction of branding programs that are going to challenge our students from pre-K, kindergarten, right through to 12th grade. So when you look at an IB diploma program, it didn't come upon us randomly, but the diploma program is an outgrowth of IB in the district and being part of a natural pathway of honors, which we now have to have at the middle high school. The OUT program that I'll talk about in 1 second is really an outgrowth of how do we better challenge our students to be global learners, which is the Mandarin, Spanish area that Brendan addressed, and the STEAM area that Todd talked about. So we asked ourselves the question, in terms of this 5-year plan, what would be some of the next logical steps? And I'm delighted that Dr. Chase supported what we are calling an advanced learning program for this September. That is an opportunity to say that every student beginning at the earliest grade, we believe to be first grade in this case, and begin to become engaged in a program for challenging learners, for students who want to go above and beyond, for students who have come back to us and said, you know, I'm happy in this school, but you can make me happier by giving me perhaps more great books, more opportunities for reading broadly and widely, more opportunities for math and its applications, for science and its applications. So the OUT program is saying, how can we design something that stretches us even further? All of us have a comfort zone. We don't want students in a comfort zone. We want students in a challenging zone. Not what Dr. Chase cited earlier, which saddens me as a former superintendent in this state, that we have a state that is now testing and going beyond a challenging zone to an anxiety zone. That is not good. What we need are students in that challenging zone. OUT is that kind of a program. So we're very happy to say we have support. We're going to have a new director for the program, like Todd and Brendan. This program deserves a director who will assume responsibility for leadership, as well as picking up where Miriam is leaving off in the arts, and also a director who does some work on grantsmanship, because this district is a very powerful district in terms of attracting external funds if we give our message out correctly and accurately. And so this new director will assume that, and we're looking at a blended faculty. That means some of our internal teachers are extraordinary teachers, and they ought to be in the OUT program, and they will be. And then we want to attract people from the outside. So when we're ready to make the announcement, probably somewhere later in the May timeframe, you'll get to meet some, what I consider to be some very extraordinary leaders from first grade through sixth grade, who will guide us into a whole new domain of advanced learning. We anticipate 20 to 25 students per grade level. So out of 120, we're looking at about a 20% factor in each of the grades. And right now we're conducting testing, COGAT and STAR, ELA and math, so that we can help identify who these youngsters are. And let me say a word about the COGAT. The COGAT is identifying students who don't normally and necessarily do well on achievement tests. We have a lot of very bright youngsters, very competent, capable youngsters, who are not surfacing on a math or ELA achievement test, but they are surfacing on an ability assessment and a cognitive quantitative verbal ability assessment. That's a message for the whole faculty in each school. That we're going to let the whole faculty know, hey, you've got a lot of stars here who you would not ordinarily see by virtue of their doing their homework every day the way you'd like it. So it's opening up a lot of horizons for where we can go with all of our students, not just students identified out. So that's all I'll say, Dr. Chase.
Thank you.
And I probably fulfilled my minute and a half.
That's fine.
Is there any questions?
A few years ago, as a community, you also supported the repair reserve. And some people have asked, well, why has it taken so long to repair some of the projects that you voted on? And so what I'd like to do is just provide you with a little bit of an update from Mr. Falcone and Ms. O'Neill as to where we are with the repair reserve, what projects have been completed, which projects are still somewhat outstanding, and which projects are on the way.
Good morning, everyone. A little update on the repair reserve fund. If you've been to the high school, you'll see the brand new gym floor that's been completed over there. They did a fabulous job. And if you haven't been over to Highview School, fabulous job. It's absolutely beautiful. The emblem that's there. I mean, I think that's a route to go to on our next project. Stair treads have been ordered. There's certain colors that they have to, special orders. So that's
Is that the stair treads for the high school?
stair treads for the high school. So if we can, yeah, let's just turn that off somehow. So the stair treads are on its way. The Highview School, the PA system, that is installed. It's the software that we're trying to download on our end. Once we download that, the PA will be up and running over there, which is a state-of-the-art PA system. They had the added speakers on the outside, which didn't have any speakers on the outside before. That's coming along very well. And the only other one is, yes, we finally got the plans for the stairs at Highview School that that goes down to the field. I had to block it off. I have barricades now because no matter how many times you put caution tape, it seems like we don't quite understand what it means, caution. So I ended up barricading it. I feel bad, but honestly, this is a hazard. So,
The stairs down to Wakefield.
yes, yes. So, and other things we're on top of. I mean, yes, I've had complaints of potholes. We're on top of that. Our water main, yes, we ended up going out to bid on it. They have to buy material. We still have the temporary water main. It's going to be there for a while. We're waiting for the Board of Health approval. Things take time. Unfortunately, our hands are tied behind our back. It's just like the boiler replacements. Okay, that's on the way. I thought it was going to be up and running Friday, but the new boiler should be up and running by the end of this week, and then they will start on the second boiler as well. Don't worry about the grass where the tent is going to be for graduation. I assured Matt that I'm on top of it. In fact, I have some of my staff members moving some equipment. The temporary water main might stay there, but we're going to try planting ASAP so we can go ahead and have a nice graduation. Yes.
Are there any plans for RJ Bailey for the playground over there?
Playground
It's
right now
really
is-
a mess.
Yes, and Highview School as well. If you look at both play areas, when you're playing on it constantly, every single day, and if there's no break to it, very hard to get grass to grow. This is on top,
Well, it's
on
more
my
than the
list.
grass. The basketball hoops, they're all tattered. The swing sets have
Basketball,
chains, and there's
basketball
no
hoops,
seat.
I believe they ordered some basketball hoops.
Did they? Okay.
Okay, I believe they're there. They have to get a contractor to install them. Okay.
Because I know the kids are really excited about the volleyball
Yeah, well,
that came. So
right, that's
we-
there, but
You want to talk about the fundraising?
Well,
we were thinking about.
Can you just? I just want you to finish it.
Okay.
Please, I want you to
Okay.
share too. I just want you to finish.
okay, that's basically a little off track here because you came up with it. Playground, we've been working on it, and I believe the town is and we are working together. So I don't want to go too far. I don't want to promise, but we try to, we give attention to everywhere in the district. Don't forget we have a lot of pieces of property, but that's one of the things that we've been talking about.
All right, because the front of the building is beautiful.
Yes.
And then as soon as you go in the back,
we're getting
it's
better.
discouraging to see it.
Okay.
It really is. And then you see the kids out there getting all dirty and muddy.
That's not an easy task there. So unless you want to keep people off for a couple of years to try to establish a lawn, that's a possibility. I do have other options, but we're gonna, like I said, facility planning, we're gonna address it sooner. Okay?
But I wanted you to continue. We're talking about fundraising.
Yeah, Shelly and I were talking that, because I'm sure the kids, like I said, they're very excited about the net that went up. They would be very excited to, and they'd be proud to maybe do some fundraising, things that maybe we would even, put together.
Is there a way to give the kids some ownership?
Yeah.
Did you speak to your principal?
Well, this was just something we just discussed.
Oh, okay.
Like 5 minutes sitting here, Tara had some points that she wanted to talk about, and it came up. But and I suggested, because I'm not about complaining, I'm about coming up with constructive ideas.
I appreciate that, ladies, and I like the way you stated that. We're open to ideas, and we're open to hear that. And I like the idea of giving kids some ownership in terms of fundraising.
Yeah, they'd be really proud. They would love
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It gives them ownership, and it gives them something left to the kids who are coming into Bailey. So I really like that idea. Don't lose that. We need to have more conversation, but please make sure you filter that through Ms. Washington. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Falcone. And I just want to move on because I know that everyone's time is limited and we can be here all day. But thank you, and again, community, thank you for the repair reserve. It really was tremendously important to us. But I have to tell you, I'm tired of doing patchwork. Right. You've got to be tired of me doing patchwork. Yeah. Because every time, Mr. Morton, I put a Band-Aid on something, what happens? The wound opens up somewhere else. Since January 1st, we have had to close school, right? They have to make up school at the end of June because we had to close school because the boiler malfunctioned. We had to move kids from Bailey to the Theodore Young Center, and thank you for always being willing to accept our children. We had to move these little cute 3- and 4-year-olds from the main building here, and it was 12 degrees outside. We had 2 water main breaks. And the list continues and continues and continues. My buildings are aging, and they're beginning to show their age. You heard about these wonderful programs. Now here's the issue. I've got these world-class programs. You know where I'm going. But look at my facilities. What's wrong with that picture? We've got to do something. And it doesn't set well with me knowing that Mary spent a lot of time with our architects and we looked at our building condition survey. We're in the process of finalizing a 5-year plan. Do I continue to put Band-Aids? You're not going to let me finish that, right? Do I continue to put Band-Aids on the wound? And these buildings are not getting any younger. And with these extreme weather conditions that we're having, or do we give the kids what they rightfully deserve and this community rightfully what they deserve? Yes. So that's the conversation that I'd like to have with the community. The board, a few weeks ago, passed a resolution providing the community with somewhat of a timeline for what a possible bond referendum might look like. We're ready, I'm ready, but I'll tell you more importantly, the kids are ready. The children deserve this. So see, we have a special meeting Tuesday with the board, Monday, 24th. My days are colliding. Whatever it is, Tuesday, with the board and talking about, you know, the process that we need to undertake. Last night, the board passed a resolution to hire a firm that's going to help us take a look at state aid and what the whole bond matters will look like. And this is an attorney group that is well-versed and very professional and also very experienced in this particular area. We're ready to move forward, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to move forward, but I need you to work with me, and I need you to help us, to help other people to understand the concept of what we're trying to do here. I have two choices. I can take the building condition survey and say, we failed every area. We are unsatisfactory at every building. Let me just be clear. It doesn't set well with me knowing every day I'm coming onto this campus and every building is in unsatisfactory condition. That's number one. What I can do is I can make every building satisfactory. But guess what? Every building isn't getting younger. Or what I can do is I can consolidate our buildings. I have a lot of land on this campus. Do I not, Mr. Leviathan?
Oh.
I have a lot of land. And I can use the land.
30 years.
I can use the land in which it was left for us by Ms. Warburg.
Yes.
So that it can educate children. I spoke to her grandson and he said that's what she wants for this land, is to educate children. So I have two choices. I have two choices. Choice one, repair. Band-Aid will be satisfactory temporarily. Plan two, give these kids a world-class school where 25, 30 years from now, there will be specifications in the facility that will meet the needs of kids in years to come. Years to come. Kids who are not even born yet will benefit tremendously. Energy efficient, which will save money on our operating costs. So there are some things that we can talk about community together, and just based on the nods in the head and the mm-hms that I hear, sounds like we are quite ripe for it, and it is time for Greenburgh to move forward. Thoughts? And then I'll need the principals to say something before you guys leave, because they have anxiously been waiting to share the fabulous things happening in your building. Mr. Leviathan.
Probably one of the oldest people in this room. And we have been talking about the campus. The campus, the Greenburgh. One of our first groups of WISE kids from the class of '74, one of those kids went on to Cornell. But he went through the Cornell for the guys who look at life, looking in the in the forest fires. Okay. He came to our Board of Education. We had a wonderful Board of Education. Let's add the numbers, right? 74, he got his degree, so about 78 or so, he came to the Board of Education. And he said, you know, at that time, you could get a teacher for about $30,000. He said, I can be your forest ranger on this campus. We had 5 or 6 or 7 trails on the campus. We fixed one. The tower that someone had talked about.
Yes.
Where's the person who was talking about the tower? There is a tower on already, right? There are, so we got a wonderful, wonderful, exciting thing. And so, by the way, the dead wood that we would cull from the campus will double my fee. Board of Education was really good. You know what they were looking at? Bailey has to be fixed. Woodlands was designed to be a California place, right? Everything was, and we had one of the best student body, one of the best community that came here in spite of all of the things that were happening. We had our guy from who's the guy who was on the college campus, or the guy from Alabama. No,
all right.
You know what
We
I'm
got the
talking
point. Go
about,
ahead.
right? You know, I get the point. The most you look through the flags in this school district, for God's sakes, you know? We had a community that had such extraordinary opportunities. So, with one of our people who helped us get this place, Harry Phillips, helped get the campus. We started doing a thing in the whole community, and then we dropped it. And that was not 74 or 78. That was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Okay? You can pick up some of those pieces.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
got the community.
Yes.
We've got tremendous people. We've got over 5,000 wise graduates who have offered to do things for us, and we can't do it because we have to get it from somebody else with all of the requirements. We didn't take advantage. And John came much after me, and he can also, I think, say something about that. It's incredible. I'm looking around at the people who are here. When Mr. Valente came in to see the wise room, remember that?
I do.
Do you remember what you said at that session?
I do.
I'm kicking myself all over since we didn't ask Steve. I mean, like, you said something about, and you said it much better than I can tell that. You said something.
Beautiful students plus beautiful programs deserve
campus.
beautiful schools.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's our theme.
Let's use our resources.
Yes.
We can do it with
We
our
can.
people.
We can. We can. Mr. Levitin, thank you. This young lady right here wants to say something, and then you. And then I want to get to the principals really quickly so you all can get on your budget. You. I thought you were.
Me?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
And then the other beautiful
Just
young
very
lady.
quickly, in your structure of change schools, because I also am a proponent of the new building, is that you include what's happening in the United States now. There has been a surge of school gardens as a connection of curriculum to school gardens, and I'm currently working with a local school district now. So
we're laughing for a reason. But
oh, okay, good. But there is that connection. I do know the community garden that is here was originally from a cafeteria worker back in the 70s from Woodland, who felt the importance of children having a connection to food sources, and it is there, and it needs to be in the school district. So I guess it's happening, right?
So we're laughing. We're laughing because we're working with our architects on developing a concept.
Okay.
And the one thing I said was I have to be selfish. I want a greenhouse on the roof of this new building.
Yeah.
Where children will have an opportunity to indulge in farm to table at least once a week.
Yes.
That's exactly, so that's why we're laughing.
Okay.
Oh no, so we're on the same page here. So thank you. So when we start talking about concept and planning, I need for you to come out to those meetings.
Sure.
Okay? Yes, behind you.
I just have a suggestion. I'm happy to hear that Highview and the Early Child Program are getting new playgrounds. I was wondering if it could be inclusive, for children with special needs, like maybe have a swing, or some other activity, and maybe getting input from the PTA and the physical therapist and gym teacher on what, not to rely on the vendors to just do the plan, to actually get input from the PTA and the physical therapist, gym teacher, to make sure that the kids that are special needs have swings and that are included.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely. And you just want to pause that. All of our facilities will be for all of our children. All of our children. So thank you. Ms. Carey?
Yeah,
and then I'm going to go to
I just want to clarify one thing. I want everybody to know that the gardeners on this campus were really started by Annie Chisholm at the Early Childhood Program. She was our cook. And she felt that children needed to be involved with the food that they ate. And she had them go out, and we had several gardens right on the property. And the kids dug, they planted, they reaped, and they cooked. So I just want to make everybody aware that that was like 30 years ago. So I just want you to know that. And that was even before the community garden.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Yes, Evelyn.
Just a suggestion if we're talking about the B word.
Building?
Bond. Oh, there we are. Talking about that. I've worked on James Bond. I've worked on a few bonds for other districts, and they did two really smart things. They put together a bond citizens committee right away. We are all in this room, but there are a ton of people who aren't in this room. Maybe they're watching on TV, but we have to keep in mind, you know, the entire universe is out there and convincing them. And the second thing that a lot of districts did, and I hate to say this because I'm a communications person, but they did hire an outside, you know, PR firm that specializes in selling the bond, which made a huge, huge difference. So, two things to consider.
Absolutely. So we've already discussed with the board what an outside PR person would look like, a much larger firm. And you're absolutely right. As part of our timeline, if anyone takes a look at the timeline. The timeline specifies building a committee made up of a variety of community members. So we're taking those two strong things into consideration, and among other things too, because we do have a unique community. So just knowing the community itself, just what needs to be done to get the message across, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to hear from the principals because, you know, I know they need to leave, and they've spent some time with us, which they don't mind. It's always great to reach out and enjoy and engage with the community, but I want you to hear some of the great things that are going on, and keep in mind of how these things can be expanded in a facility that could sustain it, right? So just think about that. So I'm going to start with my bookends. I always call them bookends, right? So we, not ECP, not yet, but just from Leah Jackson to high school. I call those two bookends of the district. But one of the things that I do appreciate about us is that we always include ECP with all of our trainings. I love that ECP is forward-thinking in terms of making sure that there is a continuum with curriculum development. So I thank you for leading that effort. I know you need to leave, so I'm going to start with you. If you could just share with us some great things that are happening.
Like me to
About
go
90
front,
seconds.
or am I okay
No, you're good
here?
right there.
Okay. So, thank you. Unlike Dr. Chase, she thinks of 3 words and then she's able to elaborate on it. I do think of 3 words, but then I write it in full sentences. So, as you heard, we have a very rich academic program, not only at the Leah Jackson School, but in the entire district. In addition to all of the fun trips and assemblies that go on, this year, one thing that all of the elementary schools put in place is we have a 6-day rotation. This allows us to have more time on task, and your child is not always losing out on their specials on a Monday, which happens to have all of the holidays. We are an authorized PYPIB school. We are a PLC, which is a professional learning community school where teachers come together a couple of times a week. They look at data, they look at curriculum maps, and it's not my child, it's our children.
Yes.
We have a foundation program, which is our word study program. Students are learning letters and sounds and the correlation of the letter and sounds. And with that, they're expanding to words, expanding to sentences, and some parents will say, well, my child knows how to read. But when you isolate the sounds and the letters, they can't really pull it together, and that transfers into their writing, which is addressed through our 6 Traits of Writing program. This year we're using Fontes and Pinnell as our assessment tool. They're assessing the students with the Fontes and Pinnell, so they are able to identify the students' learning reading level. And thank you to the Board of Education and Dr. Valenti and Dr. Chase. We have fabulous Fontes and Pinnell guided reading leveled libraries now. I mentioned the 6 Traits of Writing. Math in Focus program, that is our math program. We have a hands-on science program, which is also includes our technology and our STEAM. We have technology in every classroom. We have STEAM centers in every classroom. We use iReady as another assessment to really look at the child's abilities. Mandarin, you heard about our Mandarin program. Well, it's here. And the students are exposed to the Mandarin program. They're learning letters and sounds and coloring. and they're making sentences and they're dancing. And if you come into our school in the playground, they're counting in Mandarin. It's just wonderful. They greet each other in the Mandarin language. You know, they're saying ni hao and tai chi and all of the wonderful words that they're learning, and I'm learning as well. And it's just wonderful to have the students greet us in Mandarin. Can't forget our PTA. They are so supportive with the fundraisers, with the wonderful trips that have been provided. And together with Marion Burnaby and Mike Falcone, I have to thank him too, because his support in beautifying our school. Over the last few years, we've worked with the Arts Westchester to bring in arts residency, and thank you to Miriam to coordinate that. So when you walk into our school, we call it the Lee F. Jackson Children's Museum because of the wonderful hands-on murals and art, beautiful art projects. We have mosaics, we have murals. This year, our latest is the library. When you walk into that library, the kindergarten students were, they're learning, all of our students are learning the Foundations program. So we have the Foundation alphabet on one wall, and then throughout the other parts of the library, we have the IB traits, and it's all children's work. Absolutely beautiful. Some of our assemblies and programs that are being brought into our school, we have storytellers, marionettes, we have the Greenburgh Nature Center, and just the other day, our kindergartners went over to the Greenburgh Library, which is a wonderful experience. So now they all have library cards because we want to encourage reading and really, you know, just looking at the child from when they're little babies and have them have this love for learning. So everything that we're doing, I thank the ECP crew and our neighboring school districts that feed into Lee F. Jackson, because without them and their support, you know, we're taking them to another level, and whatever we're doing is preparing them for Highview and for the rest of our school districts. So just come and visit, because it's just, you have to see it in person. We do have, you can follow me and my teachers on Twitter, which I love doing. And we also have our newsletters on our website, but please just visit. And Mr. Jackson, I know when your children were little and you were on the board, so I would love for you to come back to look at the Lee F. Jackson School, and Mr. Messina as an incoming parent, please visit our school. Thank you.
Awesome. Before I go to the next school, has everyone met our new registrar? Okay, can you stand up again so we can all see your beautiful face? Stand up. There you go. Our new registrar, district registrar. Our district registrar does more than just register students. She's going to be actively involved in presenting to our parents and sharing much needed information. In fact, she reached out to me about Mental Health Awareness Month, where she'd like to do some workshops for our community as well. So she's in the community, she's visiting homes, and she's working very closely with our transportation supervisor, Frank Gunn, who's in the back, who is retired and came out of retirement to join the Greenburgh Central School District because he just loves working. But Frank has been an asset to our school district, and so the two of them, we really do thank them for their efforts in being out in the community. All right, let's hear from ECP. What's happening there?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Patricia gave me a hard road to follow behind, but we are a pre-K to 12 school district. We provide an enriched education for 3 to 5-year-olds. I'm going to go down, and I'm just going to keep it very brief. Our arts and education, we work very closely with Marion Burnaby. We weren't able to get much in this year, but we know that we're going to get it in next year.
Maybe the end
but
of
the
this
arts,
year.
hopefully.
So it's not over yet.
That's good. I believe it, because our arts and education, the teachers are looking for it, the children are looking for it. They build on student learning. We're looking at the ELA and math, what they do to enrich the children. We have STEAM. Todd has provided innovative learning into the classrooms to get materials to spark student learning. We have a connected curriculum that feeds into Lee F. Jackson. We have our foundations, common ELA and math, vocabulary introduction of sight words, the common dial screening tool for children initially going into Lee F. Jackson, but children that are in the early childhood program. We get support from our tech department. to provide iPads, computers, and I'm still working here with my colleague to provide additional, see I'm putting them on the spot, right? Additional iPads. We have in each classroom right now, we have 5 iPads, but my goal is for every child to be able to have an iPad and have access to an iPad. We know it's money, we know it takes time, but I will be working with Mr. Carlos to make sure that that happens. We have our PLC, Professional Learning Community, weekly meetings. That's our professional development. The teachers, we sit down, we talk about what children are learning, how children are learning, where there are difficulties. Not all of us have the same tools in our professional toolbox, but if we sit down as a collective education unit, we can all support one another and build those tools and add tools into our professional toolbox. Community resources. I'm sorry that our fire department left us, but we have the fire department, we have Hartsdale and Fairview. It's amazing because Greenburgh, the way Greenburgh is split, we have 2 fire departments. So we have children that live on this end of Greenburgh in Hartsdale, and we have children on the other end. So we incorporate the Fairview, the Hartsdale, and the Greenburgh Police Department. Okay, to talk to our children about safety, to talk to our children about how they are not the enemy, but how they are a community resource and support to them and their families. And with that said, I say thank you.
Okay, I have 2 more schools, Bailey and the high school. I know I said I was going to do the bookings, but I'll go ahead because they have a lot of people. So I'm sure they're going to go. Who wants to go? All right.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
You should.
I'm just going to start my basketball team.
I know, I tried.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to speak first and foremost about the play Annie. It was a great, great production. And the students, this is our first year going with 4th graders through 6th graders. And I really felt like I was on Broadway. And Matt, you're going to get some great 6th graders coming to your 7th grade program next year. And we get to keep our 4th and 5th grade. We're really building up the theater. And I'm really, really happy about that. And yesterday, when I put Dr. Chase on a screen just like that in the library, and she invited the Annie crew to In the Heights, they basically acted as if they got a lottery ticket. They got the letter, and so we just did a quick video saying thank you, Dr. Chase, because they were so excited and they were so thankful for being acknowledged. So thank you, Dr. Chase. Our students are just very excited. So I just wanted to say that.
I have a date with 60 kids.
Yes, yes. I'm like, I don't know what she's going to do, but I'll be there. I'll be there. I also wanted to speak in reference to the state testing because Bailey is a testing school just like Mr. Smith. And I do want to say, I think we need to make note. It was a struggle. There were some challenges. But 5 years ago, Dr. Chase walked in here as Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction.
That's right.
The first thing she did was she built a literacy committee and had teachers from pre-K to 12 sit around a table. And Dr. Valente is continuing that literacy committee. So for 5 years, we had articulation, which when I was a teacher in Greenburgh, we used to beg for. Beg to speak to the 7th grade teacher upstairs. We just couldn't get it together. But we had it 5 years ago, and we still have it. But I need you to know, Dr. Chase, because you weren't in the building, that the students from the literacy committee, when I spoke to them before the test, even when we had to give them lunch, and they came back to say, I want to finish the test. Now, understand, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds could say, I'm done. They could. But some of them said, I'm not done. I want to continue. Yes, some of them had frustration. The principal was a little frustrated because we had to learn how to work with the untimed test and the strenuous, circumstances we were put under. But the students were champions. And let me tell you, from the literacy committee, Dr. Chase and Dr. Valente, the students said we used our GIST, our SUN strategy, our RACES, and our RAPT. And Mrs. Washington, I used my planning page. And as an 11th grade teacher in the high school, trying to remind juniors to use the planning page, right? And they used their planning page. So I think it was a struggle. The state, we do need to talk to them. But we need to understand that we are preparing the students Under Dr. Chase's leadership as Assistant Superintendent Curriculum Instruction and now as Superintendent, our students are prepared for challenges. And I think as we realize we're giving them strategies because we don't know what the world's going to bring. But the fact that we are preparing our students to deal with the challenge that's in front of them and to walk away as a champion. They're going to feel stress and anxiety like we do. But I just had to let you know, Dr. Chase, because it's not in vain. And I was able to see it in the classroom. So thank you to Dr. Chase and Dr. Valente for keeping us at Greenburgh Central School District with a viable and guaranteed curriculum, training our teachers from ECP to the high school so that our students can get the education that they need. We definitely have our Mandarin program. I'm so excited about that because we had our Chinese New Year celebration, but it just wasn't, oh, let's just take them to the Chinese restaurant and let them eat. Oh, no. It was a full curriculum right at the Chinese restaurant. We have our 2nd annual National Elementary School Honor Society coming up. We're trying to align ourselves with the middle high school because as we give our students to Mr. Smith, we want them to also understand about the Honor Roll Assembly, understand about National Honor Society. So we are working with Mr. Smith. Also, we're working with Mr. Smith when it comes to Just Words and Wilson. And we are with our mindset that we won't be giving you as many Just Words and Wilson students as the upcoming years. Thank you to Dr. Chase and Dr. Valente. We are also working with our community partnership, Andre Early, TDYCC, and our Greenburgh Police Department. Andre said, what can we do to help our students become better readers? And we said we're going to work together to really find out how the community and school can come together. And our police department wants to help with our parents. We had a parent coffee. Just talk about social media. It happens in 4th and 5th and 6th grade. Mr. Smith deals with it on a different level, but we are trying to work together when it comes to that. Departmentalization, first year. We did a survey. That means students go from class to class. One teacher teaches one subject. We did a survey. We had over 70% of our students said they prefer this schedule over the old schedule. So we are really thankful at R.J. Bailey. I'm going to stop now, but I just wanted to let you know a little bit of things that are happening, but I think the core is that curriculum. That's the focus, because we're all about proficiency when it comes to students and getting them ready from the cradle to their career. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate this walk from Greenburgh, the Theodore Young Center. I'm sorry, high school. But I just want to talk a little bit about our fantastic partnership with TDYCC, and then we're going to go to the middle high school. We'll save that, not as last, but definitely not least. No, it's the best.
Good morning, good morning. My words are very brief. As you know, we are the Theodore D. Young Community Center. We are the Town of Greenburgh Department of Community Resources. We actually assist 10 school districts that are within the Town of Greenburgh. However, the Greenburgh Central School District is very special to us. The majority of our kids, the majority of all of our supporters are right here in the immediate area of Greenburgh. So the majority of the students that come through our center is Greenburgh Central School District students. We are proud to once again sponsor the spelling bee, in which I still have not been able to come out of the first round. But it's just an amazing experience watching these students compete on that level. And we look forward to the national competition, which is taking place in the DC area May 27th through June 1st. Summer youth employment opportunities are now available. We are actually in the process of interviewing our students right now for our summer day camp. Once again, this year we will be partnering with Greenburgh Central School District with the Greenburgh Summer Academy. We're going to make a slight change this year in which the students will have the instructional component of the academy for half a day, and then the recreational with us for half a day. So that will round out their summer experience. So we're excited about that. Our youth development offerings. We believe in preparing our youth for the summer and future employment and professional opportunities. That's why we are requiring them to participate in the IMATA program, Professional and Leadership Development. As well as the majority of our students that are currently on our newly created Commissioner Youth Council. This Youth Council is set up for them to assist me, assist them. I would like to know what type of activities, what type of programs youth would like to see within our community center. And they also spearhead some of our community service activities. Our college tours. Currently we have a monthly college tour. We just came back from our HBCU tour experience. And speaking of HBCUs,
Yes.
this is the town of Greenburgh. When you think about our leadership currently right now,
Yes.
Deputy Commissioner, please stand. Product of Hampton University. Principal Smith, please stand. Product of North Carolina A&T. Superintendent.
Board member.
That's right. Board member, that's right. That's right. Sister Dorothy as well. See, and then of course our Superintendent Chase.
Big supporter of HBCU. Don't say it. You say it.
I can say it.
Say it.
Because
he goes to my rival school.
I believe,
say it.
I behold the green and white.
Yes.
Yes. So a product of Norfolk State University. Myself, a product of Hampton University. So we believe in the experience of HBCUs. Without that experience, I would not be here today, and some of us wouldn't be here. But then, tomorrow, we're actually leaving for the Baltimore area, and we will be touring Towson University, Loyola University, University of Maryland, and as well as American University. So what we're doing is we're switching it up just a little bit to expose students to the smaller schools, to larger schools, historically black colleges, predominantly white institutions. We want them to see everything that is affordable and opportunity for them. We understand that some of them want to stay in-state. That's why we do the monthly regional and local tours as well. But there is a great big world out there for them to be exposed to. So we're excited about that. And then we just had a very successful midwinter as well as spring break experiences where the students, while they are out of school for the week, they actually spend about 50 or 60 students spend the entire midwinter break or spring break with us doing instructional as well as cultural trips, museums and things of that nature. And last but not least, I don't know how she got me into this one, but Superintendent Chase talked me into sharing with her with the My Brother's Keeper Summit. The My Brother's Keeper Challenge, as you are aware, was a program set up by President Barack Obama that addressed the needs of young men of color. And we are going to be leading that summit coming this fall. So we're excited about our continued partnership. Thank you for your full support. And as I look back, one of our long-standing advisory board members, Cora Carey, sits on our board just to make sure that we are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing to this community. So thank you.
This course is a lot
I'm sorry. Summer Jazz is coming up, and we look forward to seeing you this summer, starting July 5th. Okay.
I was teasing Ms. Cora Carey sitting on a lot of boards, and as you know, it is public information that there are 3 seats up and there are 3 people running. And those 3 people are Ms. Antoinette Darden-Cintron, Mr. Terry Williams, and Ms. Cora Carey. All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask the commissioner of the community center one question, please? Mr. Early, did you talk about the summer program for our student, for our young people, and how much it would cost for them to come to the program? I think some people need to hear that.
And see, that's why I'm so glad that she's here. I didn't even talk about the summer day camp. So the summer day camp registration is up and running. It's a great, our camp is very different from others because we incorporate social, cultural, recreational, and educational opportunities within our programming. So they're just not coming to play, they're coming to learn.
That's right.
Okay? So with that being said, 6 weeks beginning July 2nd for only $600. Only $600.
Including transportation.
Includes transportation
Lunch.
as well as lunch. As well as field trip activities.
That's right.
Once a week. So, you know, we're excited about what we have to offer. And for those that are having trouble having their financial needs met, all they have to do is just make a scheduled appointment with us, and we will arrange that as well.
That's right.
So we are here for the community. We are here with the community. So if you have any questions, Deputy Commissioner is here. We're just so proud. And did you have a question?
Can you send the information to our welcome center?
Sure.
So we can share with our,
Definitely, we'll do that.
In fact, you all might be able to help. We have a quick, if I can find somebody, this might be helpful. We have a sponsorship by Hitachi. They're willing to give us $1 million microscope this summer for our program. What we need is an instructor. What we need is an instructor to go through their program and teach the class over the summer. We had a young student that got a great job offer that he had to take. He's going to be a doctor, and it's in a hospital and all, so we wound up having to take that. So I'm in real search for someone in the science field that has some insight or interest in working with microscopes. They will be trained, but you'll help our kids bring something else to our great summer camp. Thank you.
We'd be happy to work with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Early, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. Speaking of partnerships, I know that I heard the Welcome Center ask for some information from the Theodore Young Center. The Welcome Center is something that we've established here in our school district, and so I know Virginia has some information in Carlos. So I'm going to just, before I get to, I know high school, I'm going to put them all. They better come correct, because I've been putting them off. So if you could just, I mean, literally 45 seconds.
I just wanted to mention that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month's theme is For Mind, For Body, so it focuses on mental health and wellness. So I wanted to really spread the word within the Greenburgh community, not just for the community, but starting from our children and to the families. So I wanted to partner, with Dr. Tate and kind of spread that word within our social media and with our schools and stuff. So hopefully we can start sending out some information so I can really use that.
Very good, thank you. In most communities, a community is judged by their high school. Right? Districts are judged by their high school. So everyone thinks that I favor Mr. Smith. He's not my favorite child. Let me be clear. He's not. However, I understand the importance of making sure that people understand what's happening at our high school. Because we all know what's going on in our elementary schools. But it's our high school that doesn't always get the accolades it deserves. So I'm going to give Mr. Smith and his fantastic team an opportunity to share what is going on at Woodlands Middle High School.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
I was going to say good morning, but I think we're into the afternoon now. I want to be clear. Our focus every day when the kids enter the building is that they're going to be safe. That's the #1 priority when they come in. Unfortunately, what has been happening across America, we're very conscious of that. Mr. Glasgow and I are always in the front of the building when kids enter the building, and we know our kids so we can look on their faces and see whether there's something going on. If there's something going on, we immediately pull them into the office, have a conversation, because our priority first is safety. Obviously, the next priority is that they're going to be educated. So we developed partnerships over the years with the Greenburgh Police Department and the Fire Department for safety. You want to touch up on that right now? Sure. So Mr. Glasgow will discuss our safety and our plans for safety and what we developed with the Greenburgh Police Department.
Good morning. One of the things that all schools are required to do is our safety drills. And one of the things that we maintain our partnership with the fire department and the police department with is our fire drills, making sure that the fire department comes in, air quality tests, and going through our buildings to make sure they're safe as far as the fire codes go. But also with our lockdown drills and our safety drills within the school day. And that partnership with the Greenburgh Police Department is a vital piece to the safety for every day for our children. And after those drills, we sit as a group, we find things that went great, things that we need to work on, and we let our staff know. We don't sugarcoat anything, we let them know exactly what we need to work on, and so that in our following evacuation drill, that we do continue to do better. Because like Mr. Smith said, safety and education is the forefront of every single day for our children.
It takes priority. We hold teachers accountable. We go through the drill. If there's talking in your classroom, we have an issue. It's not to play with. We don't play around when we do lockdown drills. Unfortunately, America has changed a little bit now. With kids, school isn't safe haven anymore. But we're quite aware of that. Quite aware of that. So there's some great things going on in the school, but I want to also say thank you to a few people that we have now partnered with. Obviously, at the Theodore Young Center. Thank you guys. You know, you offer that financial literacy course for our students, which is a phenomenal course, so they don't get into credit card debt when they go to college. You know, we're all our first credit card in college, and sometimes we can't recover. So thank you guys for that. Ms. Mona Freytag, I know you worked with me with bringing graduation on campus last year, so I thank you for that. And also you got the CERT team with us, the emergency response team. They did a phenomenal job.
Yes,
you know,
they
and
did.
so I thank you for that. We also partner with parents. Parents is very important that you partnership with the school and have honest dialogue. There are going to be things that go on that you don't agree with, but we can have a conversation about. Mr. and Mrs. Moore, you brought to us the Nat GOB, right? Your son won at school, and he went to compete in the state competition. I think he finished 11 out of New York State. 11 New York State?
Of 100.
Yeah, so that's a phenomenal job. Mrs. Zari, I know you brought to us the Hispanic College Fair, so thank you for that. So these are parents that are actively involved. And I always encourage parents, the only way you're going to successfully educate your son or daughter is you have to be an active participant. You know, we're going to do our job from 7:50 to 3:10 in the building, but we need you to do your job when they go home. You know, we have to have open lines of communication. If something's going on, we call you and let you know, listen, your son or daughter might be with the wrong crowd. We suggest they kind of break away from that crowd. But we have active parents, and I appreciate the parents that are active, by which we have more parents that become active. Mr. John Darden, Ms. Maris, you guys are the liaison with the board. You're always in the building. Mr. Vic, you're always in the building. You see what's going on. So Ms. Carey, Ms. Spells, you're always there. So you see what's going on. We do not sugarcoat, we do not fluff. We're business every day. And we're professionals every day. And the kids have one shot going through middle high school. So it's imperative that the teachers understand they have to change the trajectory of their lives. We really foster that. Brandon discussed IB. We're excited about the IB program launching hopefully in September 2019. 2019. Todd, you know, we're doing great things with technology. Carlos has got a connectivity up and running now for Wi-Fi, so everyone can connect at the same time. We don't. It has to be finished, Carlos. Come on. We get our connectivity for all the kids to get on laptops at the same time. But also we have some, you know, like Dr. Chase mentioned, it's testing season. For session 2 for the middle school test, when they had to write, you know, the essay, it took kids a while. And we honestly kind of changed on the fly. We were very flexible. And we said, hey, you know what? They're writing into the lunch period. We're going to extend their lunch period. We had to move some high school kids around during lunchtime. But we gave the middle school kids extended time for lunch. Middle school teachers, I have to give them credit. They jumped in. They said, what do you need me to do? I said, I need you to go outside with all the 250 kids, make sure they're not intermingling with the high school kids, and it was phenomenal. They had a great time. The middle school kids just had a relief. They would just run around and they release it. Oh, they definitely need that. So testing was a challenge. It was. But like Mrs. Washington said, they kind of got through it, and I really commend our kids for doing that. There's a few more things. As far as, we had WCC testing going on the other day, where we had 37 of our freshmen take a math placement test for Westchester Community College, ECE, Early College Experience Program, that we offer at the high school, that they can pick up college credit if they take the course and pass. So out of 37 kids, 34 of them are proficient enough to take a college level. The vertical articulation Mrs. Washington was referring to earlier, we often have conversations to ensure that kids are on track when they enter the middle school. The literacy committee obviously helped out tremendously. Our kids took the ELA Regents Juniors mid-year in January. We had 88% passing. Hopefully by year's end, that other 12% will reach 100% by June. So we've done a phenomenal job through the vision of Dr. Chase and Dr. Valente, with all the support, and the board obviously. And now we definitely have vertical articulation between buildings, which hasn't happened before. But now we're really focused on what kids are learning in each building because they change so much. Building to building, they graduate every 2-something years. So the longest time they're in the building is when they come to the middle high school. Yeah. You know, and there's a perception of the middle high school for some odd reason that it's the big bad school. We had 6th grade parents, Mrs. Washington. We had the tour that you were able to, with the snow days, to kind of reschedule, and we had about 24 parents come in. And parents were floored with how clean the school was, how there's no kids running around, there's no profanity, there's no one fighting, and parents are coming, kids open the door for the parents, hold the door for parents. So there were about 4 sets of parents that came to me and said, you know what, we weren't going to send our son and daughter here. But now since we actually see the building and see what goes on, we're going to send our son and daughter here. Now mind you, it's not, thank you. It's not, it's what we do on a daily basis, so it's not an open house. Right. So any parent that has any concerns or any questions, stop in any day. We're business every day, safety and education every day. That's our priority. So,
yeah, I just want to add it to that. The first day I met you,
coming in today,
right? And everything was crazy. I was trying to get my son in it, and I didn't know what your name was, what your title was, but you stopped. Matter of fact, I think you were in a meeting.
Yes.
And you exited yourself from the meeting just to help me, and I didn't know if I got a chance to thank you. But it's been a real challenge getting my son into the school. But it's finally done, as Ms. Gill knows. And but that's the first impression that I got of your staff, the administrators, and before I met anyone else. The fact that you took that minute out or two to stop what you was doing, and you didn't know me from Adam, or but it was a child involved, and you wanted to help me get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you.
Thank you. So our focus is, we understand that middle high school could be a challenging time. There's a lot goes on, especially middle school. The kids are growing, you get a barrage of hormones, that's a little crazy, a lot of energy for the middle school kids. So we're conscious of how Mr. Glassstaff, the dean, also deals with the discipline of the school. So middle school kids, we kind of deal a little differently because we understand that they're a different part of the maturation process. High school kids, they understand, and middle school kids also, right and wrong. We have conversations, we have PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Services, and we work with them and we work with mom and dad at home. But our ultimate goal is, when they come in, is like, what is your 5-year plan? What are you going to do once you leave Woodlands? That's when they come in this freshman year, what are you going to do? Okay, you finish Woodlands, now what? You don't have a plan, you need to develop a plan. So we encourage them to write the plan down and follow their plan and their goal. I have to thank Brandon one more time. With Mandarin Chinese this year, with Dr. Yang, we had the Mandarin Heritage Week. And Dr. Yang's like, what do you want? I said, I want dragons walking through the hallway. And sure enough, we had dragons through the hallway.
We had dragons walking through the hallway district-wide.
So thank you for that. Also, just want to remind everybody, today is this month. It's Autism Awareness Month. In high school, we are celebrating that. Next week we are going to be wearing blue and put blue around the building and balloons and everything. So at any time, we're open for business. Stop in. Thank you.
We'll take about 5 more minutes with your questions because there's a Wellness Wednesday meeting that's sponsored by Todd Minch's group. He brings all sorts of awareness to the folks here at the mansion, and so we have a meeting very shortly. So I'll take.
I just wanted to make a statement. I wanted to capitalize on what Dr. Chase said earlier about high schools. I was in the real estate office with a friend who's purchasing property in Hartsdale. And the first thing she wanted to know was, how was the high school? How was the high school? And the real estate people didn't know who I was. They didn't know that, you know, I was a resident or whatever. And they spoke very well. So there's an African proverb when they ask about, how are the children? And if the children are doing well, then that means you're well. So for me to be a stranger in a real estate, I won't call the name, an up real estate company up in this area, and for them to speak well of the high school, you got to be doing something great.
That's right.
Yes.
Not the first time I've heard that too. That there's conversation is shifting, but
real
still
estate
not
offices.
fast enough though.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of patience.
I wanted to do like Barry, just chill out as because he said that everything is well in our school district. And listening to all the new things that you're doing, but more the communication that exists in our school district is phenomenal. And we're very proud of some of your leadership, Dr. Chase, and I say thank you so much. Yes. But I'm here also to do a little more advertising, because after you worked so hard, you need a time to do like Barry. Just chill. And share a fun time at an event which is going to happen on June the 8th. And we're going to the Doubletree. It's called the Evening of Elegance and Recognition. And it gives you a chance to not only talk about the school, but to network, but also talk about where you're going on vacation. Talk about how well your children are doing. Just have a fun time to just breathe. So, we have an installment plan. I'm going to pass it around. If you need to get in touch with me with whatever your installment needs to be, I expect to see you there. No excuse, because we plan to have a good time. It's going to be at the Doubletree Hilton in Tarrytown this year. We've also made plans for them to give discount for rooms if you need to stay over, because some of you live a distance and you may want to make that an extended evening. So all of that is planned for you. So just remember the date, June the 8th. And the early bird is $75 by May 18th. It trains from 11 to the 18th. And then after that, it's $85. And perhaps we can have a little funds available for some of the things you talked about. But we don't know. If we get this to be a big thing, we can do the playground. We can help to do the this. We can help do the that. But we need all of your support. So thank you so much, and we're excited. Put your dancing shoes on, and just get to know each other from just who are you.
Thank you so much.
Let's have fun.
Thank you. Other comments, Mr. McLean? Yes.
Thanks. I have a question for the parents of younger students. You might not be aware, the folks up here are aware, and they've already stepped up in a lot of ways, about the WISE program and what it does, a senior program that allows kids to get out of the building, go out into the real world, learn something about possible professions and other things, come back and make a presentation. A lot of it very central to IB, and so we're tweaking the program to make it the final piece of the K through 12 IB here at Greenburgh. But some things that we could really use you to do. First of all, would you be willing to come in and evaluate a senior's presentation? Presentations will be starting the second week in May, and the students present to a panel which includes a community member. So if you'd be willing to do that, it would give you a chance to see what this program is like and see what seniors are doing. Secondly, would you be willing to come in and interview a junior? Once the juniors indicate that they want to do a WISE project, we sit them down with the community member and have them flesh out their project. What exactly would you like to do? What are internship possibilities? What are research possibilities? What does New York have for you? Brings me to the third thing. Would you be willing, and this goes to you folks out in TV land too, would you be willing to offer an internship placement? If you are part of a social, economic, business, professional, political organization that might allow a student in to see what real world experience is and to make that part of that student's project, that would be enormously helpful. So those three things, and here's number 4. Learn about the WISE project and talk about it. Because we were talking about how Greenburgh is such a well-kept secret. Do you know that the WISE project at Greenburgh, at your school district, has been imitated by over 100 other schools?
Yes. Wow.
I was at a college alumni event last week, and there was a woman there from Scarsdale. And she was talking up this great internship program they have for second semester seniors. And they make these wonderful presentations. I said, guess where you got that project from? You got that from Greenburgh. At schools from New York City to a Lakota reservation in the Dakotas, from Connecticut to California, Parkland. Everybody's talking about how, unfortunately, they've been thrust into the limelight, but the students are so articulate and they're so poised. Guess where they got their WISE project from? Your school district. Wow. So when you want to talk about, people come up to you and say, well, what's going on in Greenburgh? One thing you can say is, we got this senior program that's been imitated by over 100 other school districts. See how many other school districts can say that? So it's been around for 45 years. So be aware of that. So those 4 things. If you can come in and do an evaluation, great. If you can come in and interview a student, great. If you can offer an internship possibility, wonderful. But at least be proud of your WISE program. Right?
Anyone who hasn't had a chance to say something and would like to or ask a question? If not, Miriam.
I'll just say there's a couple of things that are happening as we come to the end of the school year that I know that you'll all want to attend. I mean, we talked about obviously In the Heights, which is fabulous, and Annie was great. But coming up also, there are concerts at Bailey and at Woodlands. And at Bailey now, we have to separate the concerts, that we can't just have band and chorus and dance on one night, because otherwise you're there till midnight. So we have 2 separate concerts, a band strings and a chorus and dance concert. And at Woodlands, there's a Woodlands Middle School and a Woodlands High School concert. In addition, this is really special. This year we had ballet for the first time. And at Highview, I know many of you who've been around a long time have seen the Maypole assembly, which is amazing. I don't think there's any other school, talk about, something special, that does a Maypole assembly. And that's Mr. Roberts. And what is an additional this year, we're going to have a strings concert there because our 3rd graders are learning strings. In addition to that, we have the ballet program, which was new this year, and you're going to have beautiful baby ballerinas. We didn't get any ballerinos, but we have that, not for lack of trying, but anyway, those are the wonderful things that are happening. I just wanted you to know. And and one more thing. Oh my God, I forgot the art gallery opening at Town Hall. We always partner with Town Hall, and that's always a big event where we also have music and poetry and, of course, the fabulous art. And so please join us for all that. It's in the calendar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And Miriam is retiring. Yes. And as Dr. Valenti so she says, remains to be seen. Really? But as Dr. Valenti indicated earlier, the album director will assume a portion of Miriam's role as well. So we wish you well. Thank you. Everything, all that you've done. Thank you. And we've been here an hour longer than the flyer advertised, and I just thank you for your patience. But there's so much to be said. I want to talk to the 2 of you, because I think you all have some ideas up your sleeves. And I just want to continue to this dialogue, having this dialogue, this informal discussion. I apologize to Todd, because I know he has a meeting that's starting now, and it's in this room. So we need to, that's right. But we need to clear the space out so that the next meeting can come in. But I thank you, and